I wish I was coming to you guys with better news, but today we have to talk some dirt. Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, tips for all shades of mom life, and I am back in today's video for, I guess, somewhat of a life update. I want to fill you guys in on some things, and I want to address some things, and I guess it bothers me just a tiny bit because I cannot wait to sit down and deliver you guys some good news, talk about some uplifting, positive things. I feel like every time we end up getting to the drawing board right here, it's not a good thing. The last time I actually sat down and did any kind of coffee chat, life update kind of thing was when we got scammed when we first came here. And before that, it was like the breakdown of my mom and us moving. It's always just kind of been like a huge whirlwind of events, and I want to sit down and share with you guys like exciting things. And I was really hoping 2020 was going to be that for me, but right now it's not that for any one of us. So it's not just me. We're all kind of going through some really craziness this time. So this is not anything new as far as it being like a downtime, but there's still some things that I want to address and some things I want to update you guys on because these are all new developments that are unfolding as days are going on. And so I figured I would just fill you guys in. So many questions in the comments. It's just easier to do it this way. So speaking of the comments, let me just kind of get that part out of the way. I feel like that's the most negative of what I have to talk about, and I really just don't want to spend a lot of time in negativity right now, but this is no surprise what is going on outside of the world right now. The coronavirus is obviously creating mass hysteria and a pandemic, and it's this whole big to-do, and it's literally changing everybody's lives day by day. I know friends who are postponing weddings and things because my girlfriend Lauren is contemplating postponing her wedding because it's only in a month from now, and who's to say it's going to be any better in a month. I'm literally filming this in my bathroom because my kids are home, and so my entire routine is thrown off. I don't have the time like I normally would in quiet to be able to film something in my bedroom or whatever. This is like, I'm literally hiding the furthest from the kitchen where the kids are finishing up their lunch so that I can come and sit and talk to you guys. And so since I don't have to get into too much about what's going on with the coronavirus, because I'm sure everybody already knows, you're watching the news, you're reading articles, you're hearing everybody talk about it. So we're pretty much up to date. Schools are closed, people are on lockdown, social isolation, all that stuff, okay? But this is something nobody has ever seen before. I mentioned in one of my videos, I'm 38, I've never seen this before. I have people commenting and saying, I'm 70 and I've never seen this before. One woman wrote to me and said, my grandma is 85 years old and she said she's never seen anything like this. This is something that anybody who's living on this earth right now, the earth, not the country, the earth, has not seen anything like what is going on. So how can anyone throw shade or have anything to say about the way that anybody is handling this situation? There's no rule book on how to handle a pandemic. There's no rule book on how you wake up one morning and you're instantly a teacher on isolation amongst not being able to stay stockpiled and stuff for your house. I cannot tell you the comments that I've had to delete over the last couple of days just about things that people have had to say, whether I've grocery shopped or what I've bought or how I've done anything that I have done. And we're supposed to be kind in general. I've already learned in social media that a good portion of the world was not born with that gene because they have a habit of having something to say. But in this particular situation, you guys, this is not the time for you to pass judgment on anyone because we're all scared. We're all going through this. If you're not scared, kudos to you. But I know that that's not how I feel. I love to read. I've mentioned that a bunch of times, and I am just on the CDC every single day, reading all the updates and everything that they have going on. And this is scary, you guys. This could really, really do a number on the country health-wise, but just because they're trying to avoid this condition spreading, this virus getting to where it's non-curable and no vaccine and highly contagious, I mean, that's what's making this a big deal. There is no vaccine because it's a brand new virus. They haven't figured out how to cure it yet, and it takes lives, and it's extremely contagious. And so it doesn't matter if you're elderly or if you have respiratory issues, these things mutate at any time. They've already seen a form of the coronavirus, and I actually read that it's almost 100% guarantee that at some point in your life you have a form of the coronavirus. It's this particular mutation that is causing such alarm for everyone. And so because it's so highly contagious, and because they don't know how to fix it, and because it's mutating to the point where it could take even a healthy individual's life at any given point in time, they're doing all the precautions that they can to make this not be something that wipes everybody out. But with all of the closings of the restaurants and all of that stuff, this is going to cause a huge recession on the economy. And we're already in the position where this is going to change the world as we know it right now. And I feel like I'm blown away daily by the response that I've gotten from some of these people. One woman wrote the nastiest comment about how me and Vanessa are hoarders, that have we checked inside of our fridge and freezer and know that we already have these things, and how dare we, and that she's going to unsubscribe and that more people should, and blah, blah, blah. That annoyed me so much because, for starters, tell me the last time you saw inside my fridge and freezer. You haven't. You watch my grocery hauls, that's what you see. And I cook that food. I buy for the week and we cook that food. I don't buy in mass production unless I go to Costco. And those are things like fruit snacks and granola bars. So do we have those things in the cabinet? Heck yeah, we do. And when I just went to Costco, I didn't buy those things because that's not what I needed. I'm not a hoarder. I don't have 75 rolls of toilet paper. I don't have 75 pounds of chicken. I actually have no chicken. I just tried to do a Walmart grocery pickup so that I can get more chicken because I don't have any chicken. I don't know what to say to prove to somebody that what we're doing is what we feel is right, but I'm going to do what I feel I'm going to do for my family, what is right for my family, because that's a decision that I feel, or my husband and I feel, that we should make for our family. Again, there's no rule book. I've never been through this before, so I don't know the right decisions to make. Who's to say the decisions I'm making are right and or wrong? I don't know, and you don't know. But I'm doing what I need to do to take care of the people inside of my household. We are not leaving. We are self-isolating. We're not going anywhere, and we are doing the best that we can. And I'm going to buy groceries, and I'm going to keep buying them. And I'm going to do whatever I can because my concern, again, is my family. I love y'all, but my concern is for them, not Tom down the corner. And do I care about the elderly and people who can't get these things? Yes, of course. But I'm not buying 25 of anything. I'm not even buying 2 of anything. The only thing I bought 2 of was gallons of milk. Go ahead and try and stop me from trying to buy milk for my family. Other than that, I haven't bought multiples of anything where I'm hoarding. I bought one of a bunch of variety of different things so that my kids feel as normal as possible. Put yourself in the shoes of these children. They're so confused. They don't understand the velocity of any of this. To them, this is like extra long summer vacation. And for us as parents, I'm struggling with how to give them structure. I'm struggling on how to be a teacher for them. I don't know. Like, I always said I could never be a teacher. I have about this much patience and probably less with my own children than I would somebody else's. So I always said I could never be a teacher because I would never want to put myself in that predicament to automatically be a failure, because I know that I would fail. And I don't want to set myself up for failure, so it's not something I would ever want to do. I do consider myself educated. I went to college. I never got my degree, but I went to college. I have tons of classes, courses, credits. I have tons of credits, but I switched my major not twice, but 3 times. And so I have a whole bunch of credits in so many different aspects of things, but not enough to make 1 degree. My fault. But as educated as I consider myself, school was still never like my super strong point. I find myself being able to speak well, to present myself well, and I definitely have street smarts, and one thing I have going for me is I have a good memory. And so I usually can retain the things that I hear and grasp and apply them later on. But book smart, it just never really was my thing. I graduated with honors and I was able to get a Regents diploma, but I took honors English. I had classes in which I excelled in, but as far as being like a well thought out student with tons of book smarts, like straight A's and all of that, that wasn't me. I had to struggle to get the grades that I got. I had to study and apply myself, or it didn't come easy to me. Jacob walks into a classroom, he sits down, he half hears what the teachers are saying, and then he walks back into that classroom the next day and takes a test and gets a 93. And like, I don't understand. Never picks up a book, never studies, and gets it. That kid just gets it. He has that kind of bookworm retention. But when it comes to street smarts, he's got about this much. So everybody has their own different, I don't know about my littles yet. I got to feel them out. They're still, you know, Maya's not in school. Mason's just in kindergarten. So I don't really know their book smarts versus their street smarts. Maya, to me, looks like she has the whole package. But as far as Jake is concerned, like my oldest child that I can compare, him and I are like apples and oranges, because that kid's got it when it comes to the books. And for me, not so much. But right now, trying to give my kids what they need school-wise, I don't know what to give them. Jake had an old math workbook that we pulled out of the bin that he was working on, and he went to ask me a question and I couldn't answer it. Math is my least strong suit. Unless you put a $sign in front of it, honey, I don't know. I can't. Not for me. I never understood why they put letters, algebra, all of that. Like, I thought letters go in the alphabet. They don't go in math problems. So once you start putting those two things together, you lost me. That's just not my thing. So when he asked how, I had to say, like, wait for daddy to get home. I don't know the answer to that. He's the math guy. Like, ask him. I don't know. Call your uncle. My brother's good at math. Like, ask him. I don't know. Those things hurt me because I don't want to hurt my children. I want them to have everything. I want them to be educated. I want them to be taught. I want them to have all the experiences. I know that I could never homeschool just because I don't have that. That is not me. I just feel like at this particular point in time, we need to not be super judgy. This is not a time to be super judgmental. I just feel like if I don't teach my kids as well as you teach your kids, that doesn't mean that I'm bad at what I'm doing. I'm just trying. I'm doing the very best that I can. If I buy more than you did at the grocery store, that doesn't make me a bad person. I'm just doing what I'm able to do. If one more person tells me, I wish I could afford to stock up like that, I live on a fixed income and I can't do that, I'm so sorry for that. I don't think any less of that person. I'm not judgy on that person for their life situation, but they shouldn't be on me. There's no reason to say that to me, but that's not the situation that I'm in. I can afford to get my groceries. My husband busts his ass and works very, very hard, and we're going to get to his job situation in just a second, but he busts his ass and he works very, very hard, and I do get paid off of these videos. I am monetized. I do draw a paycheck. And do I make thousands and thousands of dollars? No, I do not. But I consider my at-home job still a job. I still bring home a income, and everything I spend in the grocery stores is more than covered by my paycheck. So for someone to say, I wish I could afford to do that, I wish you could too. I wish you all the best. I hope that you could get to that point. And if you don't, you know, I apologize for that, but that shouldn't stop me. I can't not do what I can do because others can't. That's completely unfair to ask me to do that. I work very hard. I put a lot of time into my channel, and I earn the right to be able to spend the money, and my husband absolutely loves that this is a bill we would have to take on whether I worked or not, and he loves that I'm able to stay home and I'm being able to touch base with the community and have a platform and love what I do and be able to make enough money to cover what I spend out in the grocery store and at Walmart picking up a gift card for a family's birthday or going to the Dollar Tree and what have you. My paycheck covers that. And so for someone to say to me or come at me that way, it's just, again, I'll never understand negativity. I hate that, oh, you put yourself out there and so you shouldn't expect it. We put ourselves out there because we want to share with you guys. We have that opportunity to be able to share. If you guys watch, it's because you're interested in what we're sharing. There should be no reason to judge somebody on what it is that they share. Just because they share it doesn't mean that you have to be negative about what you say. I get very attacky sometimes in the comments, and I've had some comments where people will say, why do you get so judgmental, or why do you attack and get so sensitive when somebody responds to you that way? Because I watch YouTube every single day. Ever since I started YouTube, that is pretty much all that I watch. I love TLC, and that's pretty much the only channel besides the Cooking Network that would ever be on my TV. And right now we don't have cable, so I don't even watch that. I only watch YouTube. I watch plenty of videos where people put themselves out there. That's what they're doing, putting themselves out there. I've never hit the thumbs down button, and I've never left a nasty comment. I've watched plenty of things that have completely appalled me. Things that I was like, I would never share that. I would never say that. I would never do that. I would never, but I don't comment. I just don't put that negativity out there. And again, I just want to touch on this quickly, and we're already way longer than I want to be, but it's just a sensitive subject for me right now because I feel like nobody knows the right way to act right now. And because nobody knows, we just shouldn't be harping on what we feel is right as opposed to what somebody else feels is right, because nobody knows anything right now. We're just trying to get by. We're just trying to do the right thing. We're trying to stay safe. We're trying to keep our families healthy, and we're trying to give our lives as much structure as we're used to. So that's all I want to say about that. But just be kind, you guys, because my patience is very thin with those who are commenting. Right now, I'm just block and delete, block and delete. I have no patience for it. I used to banter. I don't even want to do that right now. I don't want to banter because I want to try and stay as happy and healthy as I can. You can hear that I'm not healthy. I've been sick for days. I do not have the coronavirus. I'm not running a fever, but I'm sure from washing my hands a million gajillion times, I've also washed away the good germs, and I've caught myself a cold. Plus, it's my time of the month, so when my immune system drops, I literally catch everything. But I want to keep a happy and healthy mindset the best that I can. And I feel like when those negativity things come in, it doesn't put me in any kind of healthy mindset. It puts me instantly in a negative mindset. And then my children feel that, and they don't deserve that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's move into the update form of what's going on in our lives. You guys keep on asking what's going on with us moving, our housing, all that stuff. And you guys, nothing good there either. Have you guys noticed this fly? He's like completely distracting me. I feel like I'm gonna have so much editing in this video because he keeps flying past me, and that is because we went from all of a sudden it's 50 degrees, 40, 50 degrees, and now it's 70, 80 degrees, and all the bugs are out. Every time the kids are opening up the back door, all sorts of things are flying inside, and I have this bathroom door closed, so I have a nice little flying friend trapped in here with me, and he's really starting to annoy me. But anyways, housing. Okay. So we were doing a really good job at going out and house hunting and finding houses that we liked. I brought you guys to that one that I fell in love with. I'm glad I actually vlogged inside of that one because that was my ultimate favorite. That was the one I liked out of everything we had seen. We went and saw a couple more after that, and they just didn't do it for me. But we didn't even get a chance to make a bid because the house went pending. So when we were looking at it, there was already somebody actively trying to put in a bid on the house. So we lost that one, and that knocked me off a peg like for a good week. A good week, I was just like, mentally, it threw me for a loop because this is it's not easy to go and do the house hunting thing, and the mortgage approval process has been quite taxing as well. So let's just take a side note. When we first moved here, I mentioned to you guys that Daryl had already gotten a job. I mentioned it in that scam video that we were only here for a couple of days and Daryl had already gotten a job. But it was a temporary job. It wasn't like a transfer. He wasn't a GM at that store like he was in South Carolina. So we knew it was going to be something that he was going to continue to keep looking for a job and try and better himself so that we can move on like we originally planned. The market down here is huge. I knew it. That's why I said that to you guys way in the beginning, that I wasn't worried about Daryl finding a job. The market was huge and Daryl was able to find a job, and kudos to him. I was excited about that. And we started the whole training process and all of that. And now with everything going on, they're pretty much putting everyone on a hiring freeze. So although he was technically hired, like in training and then in the doors officially working are two entirely different things. So it doesn't look like that position is going to be available for him to take now, even with everything that he went through, interviews and, you know, the talks of money and all that kind of stuff, training, blah, blah, blah. Totally different. They're not going to be able to have something available for him. They pretty much said business has slowed down. We can't accommodate right now. And so there is no placement for you at the moment. That has completely taken us for a complete sidestep. We didn't anticipate that. I mean, this industry, the industry that Daryl's in, that food industry is taking a huge hit right now because of everything going on. That's why you guys keep asking me in the comments, like, what's going on with Daryl? Is he being affected by this? And yes, of course he is. Anybody in the food industry will be. There's no inside dining. Everything is drive-through and carry-out only. Always starting to tick me off. So obviously, yes, it's impacting him, but in that training process, we didn't think it was going to impact him to where he wasn't going to be able to take the job. But now, no such luck. So that has also been the problem with the mortgage process. A lot of times, mortgages want you to be at your job for 6 months or more before you can go ahead and get any kind of approval. They were able to, with a written letter, just a job verification form, be able to verify the income that he would be making to kind of put forth that mortgage approval process. But me, I become the difficult factor in the mix because my main job is a 1099. And because it's unreliable, they generally only look for your last month and then the last 2 years. So 2 years ago, my channel had a couple of thousand people and my paychecks were a couple of $100s a month as opposed to what they are now. And so I don't have much to show over those last couple of years because things are only building for me in the recent months. So you can see over the last year or so the difference. But that's not the way they look at it. When you're 1099, you're super scrutinized on how you're going to place in that mortgage process. And so we were almost at the point, right, where we said, okay, you know what? Let's do 1 more year of renting. We'll do a year rental. This way we at least know we're going to be in that place for a year. We can actually unpack and get ourselves to the point where we feel like it's homey, and we'll rent in the area that we want to buy. I do not want to buy in the area that I'm in right now, and I was not looking for a home to purchase in the area that I'm in right now. So we said maybe we'll rent where we want to go, check out the schools in the area, let the kids go to school there and see how it is for them. And then if that's the area that works for us, then we're going to buy there. So we were happy with that, and we started looking at some rentals. And everything here with rentals is another crazy situation because everything here is application fees. I do not know if applications for rentals and stuff is everywhere, but I've never rented really prior to here. I was a homeowner for 10 years, and then before then I rented from friends. It was one of Jake's students that he met inside of his classroom, a classmate. We became friends with the parents, and then the parents had an apartment in their house for rent, and so we ended up renting from them. But they were friends, and they were awesome. I would just call them up and be like, yo, Bobby, there's a leak, and he'd be like, all right, I'm coming down. It was like no stress off my back at all. And before then, we ended up renting from somebody who wasn't paying the mortgage, and the house was being foreclosed on. And so when the sheriff came to the door and said, by the way, you can't like live here anymore because you haven't been paying the mortgage, I was like, I don't live here, I rent. And you know, they let me know what my legal standings were, and we had 3 months to get out. That's when we ended up in Crystal's apartment, Crystal and Bobby's apartment. But before then, we had lived in a place where the landlord was non-existent. Prior to that, we lived in the apartment in my parents' house. That's the only 3 times I've ever rented before right now. So my parents, a non-existing landlord, and friends, I don't have any of that experience to fall back on as far as this whole rental process thing. So maybe applications is like a thing that they do, but I've never heard that before. And so it's like $65 per adult over 18 to apply to these apartments, and we're having a little bit of an issue with Ruby because Ruby is a American bully, which is a form of a pit bull. And even if these renters will allow me to have a pet, they're all restrictive upon aggressive breeds. So pretty much Ruby doesn't fall in the category of being a dog that could be part of a rental at any point in time at all. And so I keep trying to reach out to these people and talk to them individually, like send a picture of her, ask if they can meet her before I fill out these application fees, because I don't want to drop $130 every single time Daryl and I want to apply to rent a house, and then they tell me like we don't meet the qualifications because of Ruby or whatever the terms may be. Like there's one house that I absolutely fell in love with, but the rent is like a little over $2,000, and you have to prove that you make 3 times the rental income to be able to move in there. And so all those things become like, we're just on the border, so even if you fall under, it's not accepting. They want to see a pay stub that says you make whatever. I don't even have pay stubs. So again, most of the time my income in an application, my income is not counting. Mortgage process, different story. Application, really hard to get my income to count for anything. So they want to see that you can produce a pay stub that says that you make 3 times the rental income. So whatever the reason may be, we don't want to get denied upon these applications. So I've been trying to call everybody and kind of like grease the wheel, let them know my situation, let them know what's been going on, why we're leaving this house, why we need to be somewhere else, this and that. And right now, I can't even get anybody to call me back. The last week, 10 days, nobody. We were cranking. The end of February, beginning of March, we were cranking as far as looking at houses and getting up to where we want to be. Right now, nobody will even call me back. So I had to call my landlord and I let him know that this is what's been going on. And he actually said, I would not expect you to move out right now. I absolutely know what's going on in the world, and I can't expect you to be able to find a place or move or any of that during this whole craziness. And so you have until June 1st at the very latest to get out of this house no matter what. I can push back at the latest 2 months of the plans I had for the house, but that would be the most. And he said, unless the world shakes before then, that's the best that I can give you. That is amazing to me. I don't want to live here, and I've had a lot of problems with my landlord, but I'm still super grateful for him because he was the only person that opened the doors after we were scammed. We had no place to go. We had Marissa, but how long could my family of 5 live with her family of 5 with my 2 dogs and her dog and cat? And we were trying to move animals around in and out of the house when it was time for them to go out, like put one in one room while we passed one back and forth. It was really chaotic, and that's why we needed to get out and get our own space. And then we did, and it took me doing exactly this. I mean, I literally spent every single moment that I could calling the real estate agents, letting them know the situation that I was in as far as these rental properties, and nobody wanted to give me the time of day because, again, application fees, dogs, all that stuff. I was learning all of that then when we first tried to get into this house. I just was lucky enough to find a real estate agent who said, hey, I have this guy, he owns 5 properties, none of them are being rented right now. It's kind of in his best interest to rent it to anybody. So let me put the 2 of you in touch. That's when we met our landlord, he met us. He felt comfortable enough giving us the home, and I'm still grateful for him. Although he's acted like an asshat, I'm grateful for him. Especially right now, in this situation, I don't know where my family would be without him, because if he said I had to leave on April 1st, I don't know where we would go, because there aren't even hotels around here, extended stays, nothing, that want to rent to people right now. So where would I go? I don't know where I would go. This is obviously, like I said, crazy times, different scenarios, which is why even my landlord is extending things, again, back to being kind, because nobody knows. There's no rule book on how to deal with this. And so I'm so appreciative to my landlord to understand that I'm not blowing smoke up his behind and just kind of saying, I can't find a place and I can't leave and what do I do? He knows. He legitimately knows what's going on outside. It's not that I'm not trying. I have proof that I'm trying. I have emails and correspondence with real estate agents. I have applications in my hands. I can show him all the confirmed appointments of all the rentals we've looked at, all the homes we tried to get by, my guy, my mortgage lender, like I have every information to support for him to let him know that I've been active and doing what I need to do. But right now we're just in a time where none of that is falling into my favor, and so I'm super grateful for him. So I guess our life update right now is that we are not moving, and we will not be moving probably until that June 1st. If something changes in April or we can get in for May, great, because I'm really looking forward to unpacking all of my boxes. We've gotten a storage shed. We've moved half of our boxes already into the storage shed because I was pretty sure I was going to be moving, so we've been actively moving all the boxes that we hadn't unpacked away. This way, all we had to do was pack the things that were inside of the house and move them into the garage and then into the new place that we were going, or into a truck or whatever. But at this point right now, I just don't foresee things getting better in a few weeks. And every day I wake up, every article I read, we're deeper into this, and I don't see it getting any better in the month of April. I saw the president said that it might go into June and July. That does scare me a little bit, because if it does, then how will I be able to even move for June? But maybe things will have lightened by then, so even if I have to be in an extended stay or something, that would be fine with me. I mean, I'm no longer implanted right here. My concern for renting somewhere around this area or having to drive my kids back and forth to schools, because I didn't want them to have to change schools in the middle of the school year after they've already done that. But if the school year is going to end, I mean, let's be real, no one's going back to school for the rest of the year. Schools are saying, we'll try again here or there. They're not going to reopen. We just need to face the facts that they're probably not going to go back to school until the start of the new school year. And so my kids don't have to worry about that decision anymore, because that was kind of given to us. So I guess there's something to be happy about. I don't know. But for right now, we're not moving. I have to spend the next couple of months kind of analyzing all of that. As far as Daryl, there are so many wonderful opportunities out there. He actually just went to go talk to our local HEB, because they are literally begging people to do the overnight stock. And they're paying anywhere between $18 and $20 an hour, which he was making more than that before. But I mean, right now, that is a job that's like locked in. A grocery store isn't closing right now. It's considered an essential. It's not one of the things that are closing. And so I feel like that might be good for him right now. Obviously, does he want to be like an overnight stocking employee? No, but there are so many people in this industry right now. GMs, managers, people anywhere. It doesn't matter what your level is inside of this particular type of job. It's inapplicable, is that the right word, right now? Because really none of that applies, because restaurants just aren't open. Like, I don't even know what he would have been doing if he were down to that situation in South Carolina, because they don't have a drive-through. And they literally would be only servicing DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub and things like that. And actually, Five Guys only does Uber and DoorDash. So if we were back in South Carolina, those would be the only two industries he would be feeding, which means it would probably just be my husband and one other employee there. Like, that's probably all that it would have been. So I don't even know what would have happened if we were there anyways. And I actually just saw a news article that in the county we lived in, there was just a confirmed case of corona, and now they're putting that particular county on lockdown. So I'm kind of glad I'm not there. There's nothing really in San Antonio right now. We haven't had anything. We have the people who came off the ship, the cruise ship, that were all infected with the coronavirus, or people that they were quarantining off of that, because there were people who had it. They sent them to the Air Force Base that isn't far from where we live, and that's where they've been quarantined. But with the exception of that, there's only been like one isolated incident, and they were able to isolate that off. And so there's nothing else right now in our area that's conflicting with the corona out there. But that doesn't mean that people should be lighthearted and still going out and not doing their social distancing thing and all of that, and self-isolation and all of that, because the incubation period is just so long that nobody really knows just yet. This has all been still so fairly new. But there's still so many other things out there. There's even if you go on right now and look for a job, Uber and DoorDash and Grubhub and all of those places, they're offering so much extra money. Like, if you need something right now, if you need a job and your job is being hurt and you have a working car and a valid license and a cell phone, go do that, you guys. It is a way to make money, something. don't feel ashamed. Don't be shy. What does it matter what you do if you're earning money? Truthfully, there are people out there who really need you, because by these businesses staying open and doing carry out and drive through, if they can't get to a grocery store, there's a way for them to still get food to their family. And you're actually helping the community by getting out there and being a driver. People are looking for drivers. There's ads out every day when you're looking for a job that it's all that it says. DoorDash, this one, that one. They're just listed line by line, like, we need drivers, we need help, we need drivers, we need help. Amazon just posted a big thing that they're looking for immediate hire right now because things have increased on their end since everyone's doing delivery services and stuff like that. Another thing, you guys, is I always have my link down below for Every Plate, which it only costs you guys $10 to try Every Plate for the first time. That might be an option for you guys if you're on some kind of budget restriction, or if you can't get out to the store, or you have a grandparent or an elderly or a family member who can't get to the store. Send them an Every Plate because it'll cost you $10 and they get 3 meals that they could cook to their door. So doing a service like that, you should keep in mind. But just saying, there are things out there, and so my husband is doing everything he can. And to be honest, my husband kicks so much ass, honestly, that I still haven't seen one less dollar come in. With everything going on, we are still not hurting for money here. He literally makes sure that however he hustles, we have a paycheck into this house, whether it's the same thing or more or this or that. We're not feeling it right now. So that's something, that's a blessing for us right now, but still lots going on. It's a little bit of a struggle for me as far as the kids in school, because like I said, I'm not really that much of a teacher, and so I'm struggling there. But besides that, we're not struggling here. We're gonna drive each other crazy. Like, I probably should have stocked up on alcohol so that I can make it through the next couple of weeks or the summer. Dear Lord, like, how long will isolation be where I have to be the teacher and the mom and the cook and all of that, because I already had enough jobs before. And to do all of that while we still can't, like, go out and do anything and catch a break, it's eventually going to just take a toll on everybody. But for right now, we're just trying to enjoy being a family, and we're trying to make fun out of it, and we're trying to do goofy science experiments, and, you know, we're finding goofy things on Pinterest to do just to keep the kids busy with regular household items that we have around the house to do fun things. So we're still trying to use our creative brains, but this is not going to be easy, and it's going to be a tough road ahead. So I want to wish you guys all the best. I love you guys all so much, and I wish that you guys are staying as calm and as sane through all of this. Some of you have wrote me and said that my videos are helping you. It's like sanity instead of watching the news. So that makes me feel amazing that I can be a little zen in your life. Whatever you have to do to take care of yourself and to, like I said, stay sane in all this craziness, you know, make sure you do that. I'm praying for each and every one of you guys out there to stay healthy, and we are going to get through this. We are, but I have a feeling it's going to get worse before it gets better. So fingers crossed that we all come out on the other side of this. But I'm thinking about all of you guys. But again, just exercise kindness, if not just to me, to everyone in these comments, and how we're going upon life right now, because everybody needs it. We all need it right now. A little bit of love and a little bit of compassion and heart and kindness. We all need it right now. And I really hope that you guys are up for the challenge of giving it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you want the coronavirus to vanish off the face of this earth and for our lives to get back to normal. I love you guys all so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.